Deep in the heart of Nazi Germany sat a castle on a cliff. It looked like something out of a fairy tale, but inside, it was a nightmare. The Germans called it Oflag IV-C. The Allies knew it as Colditz. This wasn't an ordinary prison. The Nazis claimed it was the only fortress in the world that was inescapable. They built it on a rocky cliff with walls 7 feet thick and searchlights that swept the courtyard all night long. But the Germans made one big mistake. They used Colditz to hold a very specific type of prisoner. They put all the troublemakers here, the officers who had already escaped from other camps, the geniuses, the engineers, the escape artists. By putting them all in one building, the Germans accidentally created an academy of escape. For 5 years, the German guards played a game of cat and mouse with these prisoners. They bragged that no one could get out. But in April 1945, the game ended. The prisoners didn't need to dig a tunnel, and they didn't need to climb a wall, because the U.S. Army brought the front door to them. To understand the end of Colditz, you have to understand the people inside. These men were the bad boys of the Allied forces. British, French, Polish, and Dutch officers. Their only job was to make the German guards look like idiots, and they were very good at it. The French officers dug a tunnel through the castle wine cellar that took 8 months to build. British officers sewed fake German uniforms out of blankets and tried to walk out the front gate, saluting the guards as they passed. One prisoner even had himself packed inside a mattress to be shipped out on a truck. The German commandant was losing his mind. Every time he sealed a hole, the prisoners found 2 more. But the most insane plan of all was the glider. Yes, a plane. Hidden in the attic behind a false wall, British pilots were secretly building a 2-man glider out of bedsheets and floorboards. They planned to launch it off the castle roof using a bathtub filled with concrete as a counterweight. It sounds like a cartoon, but it was real. The prisoners were just waiting for the right wind to fly to freedom. But history had other plans. April 1945. The sounds of the war were getting closer. The prisoners could hear the rumble of artillery in the distance. But the mood inside the castle wasn't happy. It was terrified. The SS had taken control of prisoner transfers. Rumors were spreading that Hitler had ordered all high-value prisoners to be executed rather than let them be liberated. The men of Colditz realized they were trapped in a stone cage. If the rescue force didn't arrive soon, the inescapable fortress would become their tomb. On the morning of April 15th, the prisoners looked out their high windows. They didn't see German guards patrolling the town anymore. They saw something else. Olive drab tanks, white stars. The U.S. 69th Infantry Division had arrived. The German garrison at Colditz had a choice: surrender or die. Arrogant to the end, they chose to fight. They set up machine guns in the town and refused to open the gates. The American commander looked at the medieval castle and decided to use some modern solutions. The battle for Colditz was short, and loud. The Americans didn't try to scale the walls. They brought up the heavy hitters. M4 Sherman tanks and M10 tank destroyers rolled into the streets. They leveled their 76mm guns at the German positions. Boom! The American shells slammed into the castle walls. The prisoners inside were cheering. For the first time in 5 years, the German guards were the ones ducking for cover. The SS guards tried to hold the bridge leading to the castle, but the American infantry pushed forward house by house. The master race was quickly realizing that their stone walls couldn't stop high-explosive shells. By the afternoon of April 16th, it was over. The German resistance crumbled. The guards threw down their weapons. The massive wooden gates of Colditz, which had been locked tight for 5 years, were finally thrown open. The scene inside the courtyard was chaos. American GIs walked in and were mobbed by hundreds of cheering officers. French, British, Polish, men who hadn't seen freedom in half a decade were crying and shaking hands with the young Americans. The Americans explored the castle and found the secrets. They found the tunnels, they found the fake uniforms, and when they climbed into the attic, they found the glider. The American soldiers couldn't believe it, a plane hidden in a prison roof. The story of Colditz is a lesson in arrogance. The Nazis thought they could build a box that could hold the human spirit. They thought stone walls and barbed wire were enough. But they forgot one thing. You can lock men up, but you can't stop an army that is coming to get them. The inescapable fortress fell in a single afternoon. And the men who walked out that day proved that hope is the strongest weapon of all. If you enjoyed the story of the super prison, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Next time, we're covering the Miracle Train, the most emotional liberation of the entire war. This is WW2 Chronicles. We'll see you on the front line.